Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So the gender ideology nonsense continues. This particular story is going viral at the moment. A lot of people are making comments about it, and damn well right, because this is over in Washington, D.C., one of the most wokest states over in America. If you're not from that part of the world, yeah, definitely go and check out what's going on in Washington, D.C. A lot of those people need significant help. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying a vast portion of them do. And it looks like the court systems as well are being overrun by this gender ideology rubbish. So, a Washington, D.C. family lose custody of their autistic son, 16 years old, after refusing to let him transition to a girl. You've lost your son because you took a stand and wouldn't allow your son to transition. So, what happens? The courts go, no, 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 that's abuse. You should allow your child to transition to being a girl. 16 years old, not even an adult yet, hasn't fully gone through puberty yet, but nevertheless, you either let your child transition to a girl or we're going to take that child away from you, even though it's your child. But seemingly the state now owns your child because you refuse to bow down to the madness. A military family. Oh dear, we're off to a great start. Oh no, military family. They're horrendous. Come on, people. Who lost custody of their autistic son after they refused to transition his gender are suing a major DC hospital. The family said their boy had never shown any desire to become a girl until at 16 he was hospitalized for self-harming after a bitter breakup with his girlfriend in 2021. Staff at Children's National Hospital informed the family that he wanted to be female and should be referred to using she, her pronouns going forward, the suit claims. It's ridiculous. His Army veteran parents from Prince George County in Maryland rejected the suggestion, saying their son was impressionable due to being autistic and also being quite vulnerable as well, having broken up with his girlfriend. But hey, the hospital knows best, right? The hospital knows best for your son. They have accused the hospital of starting a full on campaign to transgender this child and accused staff of mental reprogramming, saying their son had been forced to write letters to friends disavowing his previous male identity. If that is true, that is nuts. And this hospital should be utterly ashamed of itself. And I'm glad these parents are taking this hospital to town. Let's hope the court system actually allows the parents to win, although I'm not holding my breath. According to the lawsuit, the hospital used its emergency policies as they normally do. We've got these emergency policies. We're not going to use them in case it's of utter importance. It's an emergency. We've got this autistic kid that we won't leave alone. He's impressionable because he's autistic and he's been through a vulnerable time. We're going to use these emergency policies to protect us. This is nuts, man. To keep the boy in its units and report to the parents to Child Protection Services. Unbelievable. How are the parents doing wrong by the child? They're not. They've got an autistic son, 16 years old. What are you supposed to do as a parent? Go, yep, go for it, son. I'm going to call you my girl now. No, you don't kowtow to the madness. You don't, suck up to the madness. No way. You put your foot down, you say, hell no. The boy was then moved into foster care and hasn't been back to the family home since. What followed has been a 2-year legal battle for custody over the teen, who is now 19 and remains in foster care. The poor thing, like, it's not bad enough you've ripped the kid away from his stable home. You place the kid in foster care, for goodness sake, to be more indoctrinated. The parents, and not just indoctrinated, to be more than likely abused and continue the mental health. The kid's autistic, for goodness sake. The parents, who are in their 40s and African American, say their son was at risk because his condition means he is vulnerable to social manipulation. They have spoken exclusively to DailyMail.com, but want to remain anonymous to protect their estranged son's privacy. The boy's father revealed how they had to sell their thriving business and 4-bedroom family home to cover legal costs, all in the name of trying to get their kid back, trying to help reunite their own child, not the state's child, their child. The state does not own kids, but yet they take it upon themselves to rip a child away from the family because the hospital goes, oh, we have a duty of care by this autistic kid. The parents aren't doing anything wrong and they can't even prove it. Hence why the family are taking the hospital to court. And so they should. And hopefully, something good actually comes of this and they get their son back. The father said, this has been devastating. It drains so much money. There is no money left. It changed our entire way of life with the loss of a child and then with the loss of our income. Caron Baton, a committee member for the DC Republican Party who is supporting the parents, said the case was personal to him because he also has an autistic son. Mr. Van Baton said, to me, this is personal. My son is autistic, and if you tell him you are a penguin, he will tell me he is a penguin. I am very upset by what they have done in this case. There seems to be no safeguarding. I don't want this to happen to my boy or any other child with autism. Family is seeking up to $100 million in damages and cover for their legal costs. I think they should just take the hospital to town, go for more than that. But this is the person that is looking after the autistic kid. Yeah, people. The lawsuit says the child is currently living with the hospital's non-gendered chaplain, Lavender Kelly, who regularly posts online about trans issues. Yeah, sure, we'll take the kid away from a healthy, functioning home and place that child into a ideologically mad, I won't even call it a home, I'll call it a house, with a person that is all for this trans madness. So yeah, let's continue to indoctrinate. Seems like the hospital had an agenda. They know they can get away with it because it's an autistic kid. It's impressionable. So whatever the autistic kid says must go, right? Unreal. In one post on Facebook from 2022, Kelly said they supported transitioning children without parents' consent, of course, saying they were drained from arguing with families. They were drained from arguing with families, right? Okay. Leave the families alone. Leave the kids alone, for goodness sake. You have no right at all. You shouldn't even feel the right to go after the kids or the family members for that fact. But these people are so entitled that it's not even funny anymore. It's quite concerning. The suit adds up. And that since being removed from the care of his parents, the youngster has appeared in provocative and sexually suggestive poses on Instagram. Poor kid. It is unclear whether the 19-year-old has received any sex change treatments like feminizing hormones or gender reassignment surgery. God forbid that he hasn't. He has. My goodness me. The lawsuit was filed in the Maryland District Court, accusing Children's National Hospital of 8 counts, including negligence, inflicting intentional emotional distress, and discriminating against someone based on their religion. There we go. There you have it. Probably why the hospital took matters into their own hands, because they thought that the religious parents were doing harm to their child and converting that child. So what they're doing isn't converting the child. What they're doing, they see it as letting the child be whoever they say that they are. What they're doing is really converting that child. That's proper conversion therapy, I'll have you know. It has since been sealed by a judge and is now in the Fourth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. In a statement, the hospital told DailyMail.com that the case has been withdrawn by the parents' lawyers. Representatives for the parents' lawyers denied this. Children's National is ranked the 5th best pediatric hospital in the country and treats around 223,000 patients every year, including those with gender dysphoria. God help all those kids. It also runs a gender and autism program, which says it helps young children with autism to understand their gender. Amos Jones. I mean, you're dealing with young, impressionable minds here that have an actual mental disability that they will believe anything you tell them. So they took advantage of that by the looks of things. Amos Jones, who's representing the family, previously said, "This is the craziest case we've ever had. I don't know why there are people who think this makes sense, but I guess lots of people agree with this Washington DC with this in Washington DC now. It's stupid." The family say their eldest son was hardworking and initially homeschooled before being sent to high school at the age of 14. He graduated a year later and was then accepted into an associate's degree in engineering program. He texted friends in May 2021 to say that he was LGBT, but used masculine pronouns and at no point indicated that he wanted to be female. Around this time, he was also undergoing tests for autism and attending a counseling service for disabled children. He was willingly rushed to Children's National Hospital in early November 2021 after he attempted to commit suicide following the end of his relationship with his girlfriend. But after the hospital determined he had gender dysphoria, of course, they determined that. The kid says that he's got it, they just run with it. He was held there for 41 days. It was not clear how this was determined or whether any tests or psychological assessments were carried out. More than likely not. The child was then moved to foster services, the lawsuit said, in place with a single foster mother who had a previous assault charge and was alleged to be a close friend of Miss Kelly's. In July 2022, the boy made a second suicide attempt and was readmitted to Children's National as a girl. He also had a second autism assessment in August, but at this meeting, the foster mother removed him, claiming it was not necessary according to the lawsuit. The foster mother then died unexpectedly, with the boy believed to have been moved into the care of Miss Kelly, according to the lawsuit. He turned 18 years old in March 2023, meaning he is now an adult and does not have to return to his parents if he does not wish to. In the court filings, his parents accused the hospital of a cruel, abrupt, and intentional interruption of two fit parents' fundamental rights to parent their minor son. We had never known of our son's purported desire to plan to change genders, the documents read. Rather than treating us as patrons with legal and dignitary rights, the defendant treated the parents as though they had harmed their son, even though the parents had never endangered their child and had homeschooled him to college entry at 14 years old. They added, at Children's National, it is as if all critical reasoning toward the child was suspended, and there was no investigation into the extent that the child was lying. The parents have requested a trial by jury. And let's hope and pray that something good comes of this. Honestly, like, the hospital did wrong. It's evident, it's clear as day, the hospital was ideologically bound and inclined, and they moved on that. And look, I just hope and pray that the child is protected from all this madness. And I pray for the parents, because it's not easy having to go through this horrific ordeal. Like, it wouldn't be at all. Anyway, my friends, you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.